Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, how's it going?
Pretty good, besides being exhausted. What's going on with you?
Yeah, right. Things are a bit shitty here now. The cannabis club's completely split up in my area.
Oh, really?
So they haven't really spoken to anybody.
What happened? Did the...
We
co-
got kicked out our house we had.
Ah,
It wasn't really ours anyway. We were like squatting it. And a woman who owns it, she's like, can you guys get the fuck out of here? We're like, well, what can we do? You can't fucking...
well,
Like, we're squatters, but we're nice squatters. Once they actually say, right, can you get out of here?
yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, we're gonna have to, aren't we? It's kind of like your house. So everyone's moved.
See, I thought it was in
And the
like
landlord was
a...
quite cool. He was even like, I'll even give you some money to like get the fuck out of here. Like, I get it.
I thought it was like in like a coffee shop type thing, like a business
Yeah, we
establishment.
did have that. That got closed down and then it moved to a house for like
Ah,
3 or 4 months. But it's more private in a house, obviously, way more
yeah,
private. And then that makes it tricky just to pick up weed in general because no one's selling anymore.
yeah.
And then because there's not a community, this Rasta dude called me yesterday, and I didn't really know him from Adam, and I just kept getting messages going, "Oh, I can't get weed anywhere. I can't get weed anywhere." I just felt really bad. It's like, dude, I will do my best to try and hook you up. Like, I'll speak to everyone I know, but it's tough times in Southampton. And he kept slagging Southampton off, which just annoyed me a bit. I was like, hey, bro, calm down. Like, we're just going through a rough patch. Like, Southampton's actually a great
Yeah.
place. You've just got bad timing.
I mean
You've
that
been in like
I feel
three
like
weeks ago.
that happens no matter where you are. Like even where I'm at, there's always like a couple weeks in the fall right before harvest where everything sucks and there's nothing around. And then next thing you know, there's tons of shit around and everyone's got stuff. It
Yeah,
just
yeah. And that's what it is. And I was like, Southampton shit, the weed's shit here. I think shit. I was like, bro, you've been in the community for like 10 days. You've just got really bad timing. Can
yeah.
you not like call it shit? Because it's really not. Like, we're probably one of the best places in the UK for this right now. And it's just a bad couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Quick bitch and come around, and I'll give you all the links you need so you know on Instagram who's legit and who's not. So anyway, it got quite funny. He came round, and he was just one of these entitled black people, like everything's racist, all white people owe me. So that got a bit awkward, but I could put up with it.
Yeah.
And then when the weed turned up, I didn't have any scales, but he wanted an eighth, so I had 2 quarters. To split it in half, I said, you split it in half and you pick which one you want. And he was like, wanted more. He was going, oh, I don't look like 3.5. So don't fucking buy it then.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
I'm not a dealer. I don't give a fuck if you buy it or not. And he's going, what, 25 quid for it? 25 quid. I was going, you were messaging me saying you were paying 50 quid an eighth. I'm doing it for you for, well, 30. I said 5 quid. It took me 6 hours to get it. He's like, oh, no, 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 no. I was like, oh, just get the fuck out of it, dude, because I don't want you to have buyer's remorse or anything or think I'm ripping you off.
Yeah.
You saw a deal right in front of you. I just brought 2 quarters right in front of you. I haven't weighed it. I've just split it in half, so I'm pretty good with that. He was like, oh, but I want. It's going through my weed because I've got like a weed collection. It's going, I want some of this one. I want some of that one. I want some of this one. I was like, dude, I've been saving that for months. You can't just pick 3 grams of my best, 3 separate grams
Yeah,
of the
that's
best one.
obnoxious. And like you said, when you're not a dealer, it's just not worth dealing with that shit.
No, I'm helping you out, so I felt so bad for you. Like, you've confused me with a drug dealer,
Yeah.
clearly. You do not understand cannabis community. The word community is key here. Yeah, I paid 25 quid in front of you for it. I want 30 quid for it. So I think a five is fair profit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Five is nothing, is it, Jamie? 5 quid. It's like $8 profit. So yeah, he kept moaning about it as if I was gonna like change my mind and go, oh yeah. You pick 1 gram out my 3 bests and you have a great day. And I owe it to you obviously because white people are so racist. It's like, dude, you called me racist for the past fucking hour. You've moaned about everything. You're still moaning. You're not happy. It's taken hours. Just get the fuck out of it.
Oh man, this reminds me. All right, I
He
have
was like, what, you're gonna kick me out? And I was like, yeah, bro, I'm kicking you out because we don't get on. I wish you all the best. Good luck with your journey. These are some events that are coming up where you can definitely score. I'll
I
see you then. I'll introduce you still, like no hard feelings, but I'm not a dealer. I'm not here to make you get a deal of the century. I'm not Tesco's. It's not every penny counts.
yeah
It's only £5, £5, and you're still saving 20 quid.
yeah that
And
reminds
this
me.
is the And I was like, this is the greatest weed deal in Southampton. If you're not happy with this weed, there is nowhere else. Clearly, like I'm pretty. Like I don't want to be big-headed. I've escalated up the scale of like the social lad in the cannabis community. I'm pretty high up there. Like I shouldn't be. If I'm telling you it's dry, it's fucking dry,
Yeah.
bro.
I just want to real quick say what up to everyone who's in the chat. If you want to start talking about
Yeah.
stuff, we're gonna
Yes,
get
let's
into
talk race
Epstein
relations.
and a whole bunch of
No,
other
it's about
things.
Paul's race relations
Yeah.
because I'm not going to hear the end of this now.
Right? Well, no,
Paul's so racist. He wouldn't like do me deal of the century.
I actually have a funny story to tell you about a argument my mom and I got into this morning. So, driving home from work, and at my one job, we just got this new supervisor, right? So the first thing she does is like change around everyone's schedule. Like normally I don't work Saturday and Sunday. Now I do, so that's why I'm exhausted and shit. And then I have to work tonight and tomorrow night. So now I have these 3 days in a row that I just hate it. So anyway, this woman's now doing like supervision meetings, being like, "Do you have any policy questions?" And like I really felt like being like, "Bitch, do you? Like you've been here 2 minutes and I've been here 2 years. Like you should be asking me about policies. Like what the hell?" So her new thing is she hands out these things for us to evaluate her, which I don't think she wants that yet because all of our interactions with her thus far have been bad. Anyway, she's sending out these emails about this sexual harassment training, and everyone has told her basically, we've all done it, New York State required it, everyone's done it, I sent her my form and all that. So my mom, she worked for the state, so she's like, yeah, I had to do those all the time, this, and that. And I'm like, yeah, it's stupid bureaucracy, busy work shit. Like, no one gets anything out of that training, and if someone does, you shouldn't have hired them in the first place. Like, don't play grab ass with your coworkers should be a given. Like, you don't need 3 hours of being told that and I told her, I said, all it does is make people overly sensitive, paranoid, and uncomfortable. And I brought up, now the problem with me talking to my mom is, she thinks I don't know anything about anything. So like, me referencing articles and stuff like that means nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I'm telling her like, Mom, this is harming women. Guys don't want to work with them. Guys don't want to train them because they're too worried about something being misconstrued and their whole career's going up in smoke. So they just avoid women in the workplace altogether. Like, this is backfiring and it's hurting women. So I make this point and my mom says, well, women still get paid less. And I'm like, no, they don't. And I tried to explain to her the way the wage gap works, that it compares, doesn't take into account details and all this other stuff. So then I'm like, it's already illegal to not pay a woman the same. If someone is, you can sue them. And so then this is where it goes off the rails. She then tells me about my aunt who was fired from a job right before she would have reached the point of retirement. So now I'm looking at her asking, what does this have to do with a woman getting paid differently than a man?
That sounds like ageism, not sexism.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I'm not saying the situation was right or wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying you're talking apples and oranges. Like you're thinking there's a commonality just because it's a woman with a lawsuit, but you can't just say, well, my aunt lost her lawsuit, therefore that's why women get paid less. Like it doesn't work like that. So anyway, I'm trying to make this point to her, and then she goes, well, even if you do, well, what are the lawyers? Men. What are the judges? Men. And I'm just like, oh, is that the problem, Mom? Penis is the problem? The judge's penis?
Hang on, my sister's a lawyer. What are you on about?
I know, don't even, because, so...
She's a partner.
So then
Not that great. I don't call her for legal.
So then what's going on, Big Chris? So then I go to my mom and I try to explain to her. I say, Mom, the reason we're having this miscommunication is I'm talking generally.
Because you're fucking retarded, Mom.
Well, yeah, basically. I'm talking generally and she's talking about personally. The things she knows, the people she's seen, everything. Well, no, listen to this. This is where it gets even crazier. And she goes, well, I don't appreciate you telling me to suck a penis or that I need a penis or this. And I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And she's like, when you were in the hallway yelling about penis and this and that. I said, Mom, I was making a joke because you were making sexist comments about the lawyers and the judges and all of that. I said, I was like, I didn't say anything in regards to you and anybody's penis. Now, what was the whole original point of this? Talking about sexual harassment trainings and how men don't interact with women because of instances like that. And I told her that afterwards. I said,
the training they give is actually sexist towards women, because I've read it. It says you need to treat women with care.
Oh yeah, treat them like they're retarded.
It's like you've got to treat them differently to other colleagues, because basically they're special needs.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole point I made,
because women are special needs, they need different treatment to everybody else.
My whole original point, though, was that women misconstrue things and turn it into. I mean, basically, my mom was trying to say I sexually harassed her, and all I was doing was pointing out what judges and lawyers have penises. What's the big deal? Like, but it was that misconstruence. So later on, I told her, I said, "Do you realize you exemplified my initial point? Like, you just." Right out the box, like, I wasn't talking about anything concerning you, but you personalized it, and then you thought I was saying something I wasn't. And so, I mean, it was just ridiculous, because every point I make, she exemplified. And it's just, it's ridiculous. Like, you can't, and the problem is, though, is she is stuck in that victim narrative, where even after I went to her and I said, Mom, why can't you just admit you misconstrued what I said and we can get along and things can be fine? And she's like, because I know that's not what you said. Okay, all right, sure. And later on when she calmed down, I said, Mom, in what context would that even have made sense, where you're saying, well, the judges are lawyers, or the judges are men, the lawyers are men, and I'm saying, what, suck off the judge, go blow the lawyer? Like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even, it makes absolutely no sense. But I don't know. It's ridiculous. But she did at least say, if I can present data to you that women do not get paid less than men, would you look at it? And she's like, yeah, but it would depend. And I'm like, Mom, you really, like, you can't have this worldview that men think with their penises they're just trying to win women over so they can get laid, but then they're also holding women down and holding them back and everything like that. I said, there's a reason why men get drafted and women don't. I said, if we really viewed women the way you think men do, we would draft them and stay at home ourselves. Like your perception, what you're being told is reality, is not real. And that's just the reality of the situation, basically. Like, and these women are convinced. And, my mom made some smart comment at me.
They're not convinced, it's currency.
Well, yeah, that it's true. And my mom made some smart-ass comment.
They're not convinced. This is the same argument I had with Black Dude. He kept piling on the pleasure of white guilt, because 9 out of 10 times it works.
It works, yeah.
The stats are probably higher than that. And then, especially in weed, with drug dealers, it's trendy to have to raster about. When he demands more, 9 out of 10 people are going to do it out of virtue signaling. I just think he was shocked, and I was like, dude, just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. It is. It's the currency.
I have no white guilt, like none.
It is. It's the currency, and that's why even when I was saying to her, like, can't you just, admit you misheard me and everything could be fine? Like, she didn't want to. She wanted to be upset, and I was talking to my sister about it, because my sister and her went at it yesterday. She has this habit. She's going on vacation in a month, and it's like she will just perpetually fight with everyone over anything until she leaves. It's like she has to make it where we're all, like, waiting for her to go so that the bullshit just stops. And it's like I was telling my
Yeah, my mum's a little sweetie. I don't have that at all.
well, I have a single mother who thinks she's no different than a guy, so instead she just ends up insane because she's denying reality. Like, and that's the
Yeah,
whole
my mum's
thing.
old-fashioned. She was like, I won't even argue with a man because there's no point because I'm a woman and it just makes things awkward.
Yeah, well,
Doesn't
and
really matter
that's
if I don't agree.
that's
Does it even matter?
that's the thing I was
My
trying
mum's
to
like
tell my
Owen
sister.
Benjamin's mum.
Like, I
A
don't know
lot
why
like
I
Owen Benjamin's mum.
bother.
She's like, why don't you just go outside in the garden, Paul?
Yeah. Well, and that's the
Don't
thing.
go for a
Like,
walk.
and I even
Why are you
tried
even
making the
riding
point
for
to
it?
my mom where when she was saying the women get paid less, I said they get paid less because they make different life choices. I said they're not all obsessed with money. They'd rather be enjoying their life than spending time in a cubicle working on a spreadsheet. I said, and as far as that goes, I
Yeah, but
said
my mum will
they're
tell you
smarter than
stories
most.
about when she was 15 and she got pregnant. Everyone told her to abort the kid. Everyone told her not to get married. And she was like, you guys can all get fucked. I'm having my baby single. I'm fuck you guys. And then my dad happened to come back.
Yeah, I mean,
So she gets sort of fake pressure. She was like, no, you don't kill your baby. Like once
yeah.
you're in, you're in.
See, that's the thing where
And
my
now your
mom.
role changes. Like the man, like she knows she couldn't finance a house.
Well, you know what the weird thing is my mom, she
And my
doesn't.
dad knows that he couldn't look after a kid. Like, that's why men and women work. Dad was useless with kids.
Yeah.
Fucking useless.
I mean,
In fact, it was a problem having him around kids.
well, to some extent,
How
my
come?
my mom is like that in a way, but it's more that she's just arrogant and like doesn't have any self-awareness. It's a very boomer thing where it's like the
Yeah, no,
me.
my mum's well aware there's no way she could have financed anything.
Yeah, no, my mom's like, it's the boomer, me, my feelings, and everything should revolve around that mentality. I will say, she's gotten worse since my grandmother passed away because I think my grandmother used to level her out and, like, because here's the thing. My mom respected my grandmother. Now that my grandmother's gone, my mom respects nobody. Like, she thinks she is the top of the pecking order. You can't criticize her. You can't even offer constructive criticism because if you do, she thinks she's being attacked. And like I was even telling her, like the other thing, because I was talking to my sister about this, I was like, you know, I said, Mom's been going to the same therapist for the entire time we've been alive, basically. Have you seen any difference in her personal relationships, how she conducts herself, anything
The
like that?
therapist is going to make it worse.
Yeah, he does. He does because I'm sure all he's doing is validating and justifying and blowing smoke up her ass. Like I told my sister, I went to therapy for a few months with someone who's like, these are the issues you're dealing with. I'm going to help you learn the skills in order to handle them appropriately. And then at a point she said, "Well, there's no reason for you to see me anymore. I don't need an update on your life. Like you're good. Like I can help someone else now." Like, and that's a good therapist. Someone who's like, "You came to me with this problem. We're going to fix this problem, and then you can be on your way." It's like a normal doctor. It's like I showed up with a broken arm,
Yes,
but
otherwise you never move on from it.
yeah, well, and that's the thing. That's why it's like, but it's also a thing with boomers where boomer women think it's like in vogue for them to have therapists because it's again this me, my feelings, my emotions
No, 'cause I think
nonsense.
you'll see that in music, like top of the range musicians in any sport star. They never look back on their last fight, their last race, their last concert. They don't look back on it. Like they don't keep memories. They don't keep any souvenirs. It's like once that's over,
On
they're
to
on
the
to the next
next.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
My
it.
own's a bit like that. He gets a bit bored if you're talking about it because I don't see him until a couple of days after the fight, like a week after the fight. Because when you're in a fight with Mo, you don't want to be buddies with him anymore because he's not Mo tonight. He's
Yeah,
world champion tonight. Like he's in a frame of mind. He doesn't want Paul dicking around with him. Like
yeah,
we are. Does that make sense?
yeah. No, completely.
And if you take someone to the fight, they're like, "Why aren't you handing with Mo? Why aren't you doing this?" It's like, yeah, we'll have a hug and we'll shake hands, but not. He's in a mental state.
Yeah, I have musician friends that are like that, where it's like if they're performing, they're
Don't.
they're in their own little world until maybe
Yeah, if
after
Mo
it's
comes
done
up
or
to us and
something like
talks to
that.
us and jams with us, great, but don't like go over to us because he's in a frame of mind.
Yeah,
He's not being rude. That's like this is all for him. And then a couple of days later, he's relaxing. And then once the fight's over, he doesn't want to hear about it because he's on to a new fight now.
Yeah.
He's going to some other venue. He's
Well,
got to sell tickets.
I will say, as far as my
But
final.
it's really important to have that mentality. You have to close
Yeah.
on the chapters.
Well, as far as my final remark on the differences between my mother and I and why we don't agree on things, I asked her once explicitly when she was having fights with my sister and wanting her to do stuff around the house and all that, and I asked her outright. I said, "Mom, should people help you with things around the house and do things for you because we're a family and we should do it out of love and operate as a team, or should we do it because it's your house and you're the boss?" And you know what her response was? "Well, I am the boss." And I said, all right, say nothing else. And I call it delusions of authority, where it's like
That's why I'm so messy now, because as a kid, I wouldn't be allowed to tidy up. It'd be like, no, it's mum's job. It's a bit weird like that.
Well, see, the problem here, though,
and
is...
the reason she does it is because she's a mum. It's like the only thing she's got to actually fucking...
Yeah. Well, the problem here is...
She'll be pissed because... it's not going to be done the way she wants it anyway.
The problem here, and it's a common trait amongst single mother households, is there's no consequences. There's no authority. There's no consequence, basically, where it's like my mom will up and down bitch all day about, dishes not being done and this and that, and I'll offer solutions. I'll say, all right, if you're complaining that all the kids are making a mess of all the dishes, give them each one plate, one set of silverware, one cup, assign it to them, and if theirs is dirty, they need to wash it before they can use it. Like, it's that simple. Like, just don't have a million plates for them to use one, throw in the drain, use another, throw it. Like, it's a problem with there being excess stuff, why there's an excess mess, if you hold them accountable and responsible, but that takes too much effort.
I don't know what else my mum would do if she didn't have a cleaning routine.
I don't know. I know.
Maybe your mum had a job, like my mum never had a job, so.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you don't get it both ways. Like just because see, here's
it's sad because it should be something a mum wants to do.
Well, see, but here's the thing then. My mom thinks though, because she had a job, because she chose that then everyone else has to be the housewife, basically. And it's like, again, these are things that we could all work on together, but when your attitude is, you're going to work on it because I said you're going to work on it, and I'm in charge of you because my vagina, like, that's not a team attitude. And I've told them that over and over. You guys, no one does anything for each other because there's no sense of partnership or teamwork or anything like that. It's all, I'm the boss of you, I'm in charge of you, I tell you what it is. It's all this henpecking. Just never-ending henpecking. And then nothing ever changes because the only amount it goes to is bitching and moaning and then more bitching and moaning. It's so obnoxious. Like, again, my mom made some smart-ass comment about me having issues with women, and it's like, yeah, because I've lived in a house with all women all my life. I'm surrounded by this nonsense, and I want nothing to do with it.
Of women friends?
No, not really.
She doesn't get on with women either, then, by the sounds of it.
No, she doesn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah, because most women don't get on with other women. I know that.
No, I mean maybe like.
That's what I hear. Anyway.
4 or 5 that were coworkers of hers. And I mean, even this is a funny thing. Even one of my mom's coworkers were sitting talking about something, and my mom goes, well, they say that you shouldn't do this, or they say, and even my mom's friend goes, Ellen, who is this they? Who is this mystical authority you're always referencing when you're saying, well, they say don't do this, or they say, it's that social pressure thing. Well, no, they is the mainstream media. They is what the TV is telling her. They is...
Yeah, but it's really us. They is us.
I wish. Then she might be a little more rational in things. But I mean, it's weird because on some levels she is it's like she picks her authorities. Like, she only has one guy she goes to for her car stuff, only has one person for this, one person for that. And then, everyone else knows nothing about anything. And then I don't know, it's ridiculous. But anyway, let's get into new stuff in Epstein. Enough of our personal nonsense and social currency out of victimhood.
No, it's sad that you haven't got a great mum. Like I probably
I mean, I
would consider
do.
it
That's the
pretty.
thing. As long as we aren't talking about
My mum's just a little lady.
my mom is fine as long as we are not talking about the world, basically, because the way she
Basically,
sees the
she would
world.
get on really well with her and Benjamin's mum. They're pretty much the same.
I mean, like I'm saying, my mom's fine as long as we're not talking about the world and the way the world works, because she doesn't. She believes everything she's told through the TV.
Yeah, my mum kind of she wants to believe it, but she knows it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing is too is like,
But that's more of a mum's job, just to protect me from the real world. She's
well, I
like,
mean, let me
the
put it to
world's
you like
stupid.
this: if I'm talking to my mom about, my
It
date.
just makes my parents feel guilty that they brought me into a bit of a shitty world. They're like, yeah, we should have paid more attention, maybe.
See, my mom doesn't. She's typical boomer where she thinks the world is as it was when she grew up, and that the problem is me,
No.
not the way society has changed and everything like that. So that's a big difference. Um, and I mean, I've gotten into arguments with her because my mom seems to think that I could like work a job at McDonald's or some part-time bullshit ass job, and as long as I'm there long enough, maybe someday it will do something for me. And she just doesn't get that's not how things work anymore. Like this idea that you can
Yeah, I still get that though.
the idea that you can pick a job and if you just stay there long enough, it will work out for you in the end. That's not how things work anymore. But again, because she's a liberal, if she's ever if that's ever put forth to her, she goes, well, that's why we need to raise the minimum wage. That's why we need to do this. I mean, it's standard liberal nonsense, but
Yeah, until you don't have a job anymore.
yeah, right. Until it's automated out of existence. But
Well,
like
yeah,
I'm
because you
saying,
just fight for your own redundancy because they can't afford to fucking pay you.
yeah, and like I said, if I'm talking to her just as far as personal, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? This, and that, she's fine. And I mean, it's like, it's just really when we talk about certain topics like working or the economy or, sadly, it's anything that has a political tinge to it. And unfortunately, everything has been politicized. So it really limits the amount of things we can talk about because we'll butt heads. So, do you think Epstein is
Well,
alive or
this all went
dead?
on just because I wouldn't sell weed to a black dude.
Yeah, and my whole thing went on just because I said sexual harassment trainings are stupid, and if someone sexually harasses someone, they shouldn't have been hired in the first place.
Yeah, but then again, when the Rastafarian had this social cannabis club, now I get it. Like most of the customers he had, he'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
I used to go, "You're too harsh to customers, dude. Like half the customers we have, we lose because you tell them
I'll
to
tell
fuck
you,
off." You'd actually tell them to fuck off. Now I get it. It's like,
selling weed
yeah.
is obnoxious. Like
Oh, it's
it,
horrible.
it really
No,
is.
because I'm the best weed customer ever. I'm so appreciative. Like I even tipped them for helping me out. I don't try and get it for less. I pay more. I offer more. So I want it. There's a big market for it.
I mean, the
And
thing.
I appreciate it because they don't know me from fucking like I don't know this guy from Adam either. I could just get arrested there and then.
I mean, the problem I always ran into when I was selling is you have these people that have this very sort of split mentality towards the weed, and I think you like you were even saying it's somewhat in this guy where it's like him getting the weed, it's super important to him, but because you have it and you're willing to sell some, then they think it's throwaway to you. So it's like you're not supposed to care. You're supposed to cut all the deals. You're supposed to throw in a little bit extra, but
Yeah, yeah.
they need it, like we'll wake you up in the morning for it like it's a heroin fix or something, and then they'll
It is a
expect you to
heroin
just give
fix
it
to me, but I
away.
sold it out at appropriate way before I run out. Yeah, like yeah, 'cause I was talking to the guy who runs who like is above me and it's like going to be fair. You are actually one of the best customers I've ever had. Like, you are really nice, man. And the other thing is, people forget, like, I don't want to brag, but sometimes we do get the best quality going. We do have quality control. And sometimes it's not the best of the best. We get complaints, but it's still an incredible strain. It's still incredibly well grown. It's just, it's not always going to be.
Yeah.
But not like there are so
It's a
many
plant.
strains coming
Any
out
plants
now.
are like that.
We don't know what the strain. We don't. There's so many now. It's not that it's a bad weed. It's just that is what the strain is. There's so many.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's a very well. Some strains are just strong. It depends what you want because there's not. We got so many customers. It's not always about recreational use. Sometimes it is about medical use or full-time use.
yeah.
So when you don't like the weed 'cause it's not strong enough, I kind of like it because I don't want to be knocked out all the time. And you even give them the recommendations as well. You're like, if you want like something that's going to knock you out for sleep, go for the Kush. It's getting, but the lemonade skills is so trendy. It's like it's not going to hit you. Very light weed, lemonade skills. It's just a show off of what they can do with flavors.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I mean. It's like so, I know I'm going on and on about it, but if you want your hard hitting weed, you know what strains they are, and you need to fucking order them. I can't tell Mo what to put in his garden. What comes out those weeks is what comes out. Sometimes it's a Star Dog, sometimes it's Gorilla Cookies, sometimes it's a Skittles, sometimes it's a Jaffa Cakes. We mix it up.
I mean, I'll tell you, I get working even at a juice bar. People will come in. This drink isn't as green as it was last
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like, yeah, it's a different variety of kale. Like they didn't have
yeah.
the last. I mean, plants are plants. Like you can't. It's very
Yeah,
hard
if you
to have
want the hard
quality
hitting, get your
control.
amnesia haze. But in the message, you're saying that that's all everyone's trying to sell you is the same amnesia haze. Well, that's because it's the hardest hitting weed.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm just going to get non-stop messages about it again. Why didn't you get on with it? Because Rastas are so trendy. Yeah, but it's so trendy. It's like, it's a fucking twat.
I don't
You fucking serve him then.
know. All
You know what
right.
I mean? You fucking take him. I
Tell
just
them.
found your
Take a
customer.
boat.
I just
Come to
fucking
New
found it.
York.
Not you, but the people moaning at me about
Yeah.
it. You fucking sell it to him. I work for you. You fucking take him then. I don't even want this as a job. They always go, Paul, why don't you do this for a job? Now you know why. Like I said, didn't I? This would fucking happen. I said, I'm better at just introducing people. And you can fucking sort out the rest. You can sort out the nonsense. And the other thing is whilst we're waiting for it, whose weed do you think you're smoking for free?
Oh,
Want
of
to take a
course.
wild guess?
See,
Yeah.
but that factors into part of why they think you should just do it as a freebie and
Dude, if
stuff
someone
because it's
gave me
like
free weed whilst I was waiting, I'd be so appreciative. I'd be like, this is so nice.
yeah, but
And I'm
it
going to
doesn't.
pay it
If
back
it
as soon as it
adds
comes
into
out.
that entitlement, I've realized that when I was selling is that if I smoked people up, they would then expect me to give them even more because I'm giving in the first place or something. I don't know. It's really
Yeah, that's a good example. That's why I can use his name since his nickname Pass. He'll like during the night he'll go, okay, 35 quid for an eighth, and then I give him like 45. It's like, why 45? It's like because we hang. By the time we play chess, by the time I've had 5, 6 cups of tea, I'm trying all the stuff that's in your room, so I want to try it. So it costs you money, bro. I take an extra tenner. It's not just about taking this home. It's like I get that I'm costing you more.
yeah.
It's just people are just so not self-aware these days.
Well,
It's like I'm smoking past this weed whilst buying weed, so obviously I'm going to pay you more.
that's what my problem really, with the issues with my mom were
I
even
don't want to leave and him being like, oh no, no, he's just, it'd be annoying for him. Like I want to go around and chill with him all the time. I don't want it to be annoying for him. I don't want it to
yeah.
cost him money.
It's so odd too how people can be so caught up in themselves and so self-centered, but then have no self-awareness in the same.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to explain to him. It's like a community. Like you'll see when I hang around with people, we argue about the bill. because we don't want anyone to feel ripped off. Like, I'll end up wanting to pay more. He'll want to pay. Like, do you know what I mean? That nice money argument. Like,
Yeah.
no, that pay. No, 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 no. It's my bill.
Well, and it's like that's
He picks up this one.
I mean, maybe it's sort of a thing where like self-awareness stems out of like selflessness because you're always thinking of what you can do for others and stuff.
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I take the piss and Pastor will be like, "Dude, I paid for the last 3 lunches, bro. You like forgotten?" It's like I have genuinely forgotten.
Yeah.
Like, I do get a good deal out of it, or I wouldn't do it. Yeah, it's not going to last long in that community, I don't think.
No.
Well, maybe it might. Maybe I taught him a lesson. I don't know. You never know. It might do.
But, all right. Well, let's get into Epstein.
Anthony Bourdain.
Oh yeah. I forgot all
He's, like,
about him.
out, bro.
Interesting connection.
Does
I
look
didn't
a
think
lot
of
like
that.
Anthony Bourdain. I don't think I don't know anything about Photoshop, but I don't think that's enough evidence, that photo.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead. That's just my.
Because where that wind mirror is would be a great cutting point for the Photoshop. That reminds me of the JFK video where they used a signpost to cut the video in half.
Yeah.
The same dude did it.
I mean,
But like I said, I don't know anything about Photoshop. It just looks, his head looks a bit big, but he has got a big head.
I mean, like
where
the,
that wind mirror is a good cutting point where you could hide a lot of your cut and paste him.
in the video Pachinik just did, he mentioned, Epstein isn't a person. He's an extension of a system, and that is the CIA, Mossad, and all these
He's the face of it.
Yeah, basically, he really is. He's like the face of their blackmail operation, and you just had Trump appoint someone from military into, I think it was like the DOJ or yeah. And then you had case documents come out where Trump was basically exonerated, but a bunch of other people were implicated. As far as that was the day before this whole thing. And the other thing is, and because everyone's looking at being like, oh, well, this is a failure on the end of law enforcement and a failure of this. See, I think that initial first rumor of the suicide attempt was predictive programming. I think they put that out there into the public consciousness so then they could just remove him and toss someone else's body in there and then, say it was someone else. I mean, I've heard of some of these things where, like, people say, I don't remember if it's Charlie Manson or the Unabomber or someone else, but I've heard them talk about some of these high-profile people who are tied into government CIA stuff and say they don't stay at the jail. They show up to the jail for the interview with 60 Minutes, and then they're back out wherever. Like, so I really think they just yoinked him out of there and threw someone else's body there and said, see, he's dead. Killed himself. You knew he was trying.
Well, I think we can agree he definitely left the building.
Yeah. That's without a doubt.
Epstein has left the building.
I mean, because here's the thing that I don't get is, like, when I heard about this prison he's staying in, I mean, they basically say it's like a Guantanamo Bay in America. Like, so if he was on suicide watch even at any point, I don't think he would have had the means to pull it off. And like,
no, he is. I know he is on. Do you know why he never came off suicide watch? I know he didn't come off suicide watch.
Well, and here's the thing,
because
though.
There's a process to come off it. They would have gone, oh, he went through X, Y, and Z to come off it.
Yeah.
Well, the paperwork.
But even
they haven't got any of that.
even like Pachinik said, though, sociopaths don't commit suicide. Yeah, I mean, think about the horrors that this guy has committed. And what, you think some time in a jail cell he suddenly found guilt? Like, guilt to the point of...
I don't know how you hang yourself in an empty room.
You don't.
What did he use? Well, the press should at least be there asking some very basic questions like, how did he do it? What did he use? Where's the video?
Well, they say the cameras malfunctioned. So, I mean, even that. Oh, what a coincidence. Yeah, I saw a headline about that. What a coincidence. The cameras malfunctioned just at the time that shit went down. I mean, come on. They fucking shut that shit off and pulled him out of there and tossed a dead body in there in its place.
And this is at a time when the FBI say, hey, conspiracy theorists are domestic terrorists.
Yep.
And now they put out the biggest conspiracy where it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, they
Even my
basically
mum's
Bin
like,
Laden'd
you
him.
know what my mum's like? Even she's like, look, Paul, I think we know he didn't kill himself, but other than that, we don't know.
Well, see, and that's what most people are saying.
But he may as well be dead because he's left the building. He's not coming back to the building. He may as well be dead, you know?
I don't think so. I bet you, I hate to say this, but I bet you there's another mansion on another island and he's got another jet and business as usual is going to start up on Monday. That's my
I think
guess.
there's a 75% chance that Trump has had to torture him. That's what I hope. That he didn't plea bargain. Because Epstein, I don't want to sound like a sicko, he's in a great situation in that jail cell because he can, I don't know how American law works, but I imagine he's got a lot of plea bargaining deals he can pull out. He's just waiting to hear back on his appeal to get out of there. So it's not the greatest time to do it. It seems like he's got a lot of cards on his side. The ball's in his court. Like he could wriggle his way out of this,
I don't
but
know.
instead,
I
yeah,
mean,
he could have
I've heard other
plea bargain.
people
He could just
think,
name people.
I've heard other
He
people
could just
think,
name people. He's gone, right, okay, I want to start naming. And then he could have got a great deal because some names they do want out there and some names they don't.
yeah, but see, here's the thing about that is, and I don't remember who I saw talking about this, but I think they basically said that any of those cards would have been used up the first time around in Florida, because now the names that they're getting are just all from the original documents from the original case being
They
unsealed.
can't be because you've got double jeopardy laws.
Yes and
They
no.
can't be. I don't think the lawyers would be that dumb.
I see, but I don't know because I think there's also it's also the difference between a federal crime and this concerning
Okay.
international stuff and everything else. I mean, it's the different levels of the law. But like I was saying, a lot of people were implicated the first time around, and he was naming names. That's what the stuff that's all out in the documents now that came out on Friday or something. And I see. I kind of like what you were saying about Trump torturing him. People have speculated they took him down to Guantanamo. That they're
It
just
would make a
gonna.
lot more sense because it works two ways. That because A, you can only torture someone once really to get the information. Once you've done it, you haven't really got any more cards left. So it's more the anticipation of knowing the torture will be coming and maybe witnessing some torture. So it builds up in your mind because once you do it, I mean, I reckon what I'm trying to say is you're probably going to extract most of your data out of the subject, 90% of it before
In
the
one
first
shot,
torture.
yeah.
Yeah, after that you might get dregs, but the dregs is going to be 10%, so you're going to get a lot of nonsense for the dregs. So it's really going to have to be one, get to his ego and torture his ego for maybe a couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
then threaten to torture him. If he doesn't play, you're just going to have to really shoot him in the back of the head.
I mean, I think it is. I think it's either
I don't
Mossad.
think Trump's into that much into torture. Like he is to
No.
get information, but as far as punishment, I'm not sure he's really into
Well,
that.
I think it's
You
either.
don't want to torture someone for punishment, really. You don't want to go down that because you're starting dry. Like you don't want to start getting off. Like, I don't know how you're going to justify it to yourself.
Well, I think it's either one of two
If you're going to
things.
get information, that's one thing.
I think it's either Mossad or the CIA yanked him out of there, and they're
Well,
either
who
gonna.
is that stood in the green with him? You got like two ambulance crew, the FDNY. Who's this guy with the baseball cap and a bulletproof vest?
I
It's in
don't.
every single photo.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the photos yet. Um, but I think
And why
either.
would medics bother with a cold body?
Yeah, that's true.
Why is he not in a body bag?
Yeah. No,
Because
that's.
once there's no oxygen to the brain,
Well, he's not in a body bag so that the people can get photos. You know, it's a
yeah.
show. Um, but I
Well,
was
I
gonna
don't
say,
know medics very well, but I need to tell you, I did date a surgeon for a very long time, so I could be totally wrong on this. But if the body's cold, they're not going to bother doing any CPU or
yeah,
anything because
no,
it'd be cruel. Because even if somehow he did come back, the brain's gone.
yeah, yeah, he'd
The
be a
brain
vegetable.
goes very quick. You got 2 minutes.
Well, I was gonna say, I think either the CIA and Mossad yoinked
And
him
the
out of
brain's a
there.
big problem because that's keeping your. It's not just about the cruelty of you being disabled. It's you're not going to be your vital organs are always going to be reliant on outside
Machines
help.
and stuff, yeah. Or or either
Yeah,
CIA,
you do not. I would have thought a cold body is just like body bag. It's just like
yeah. Yeah, that's what it would have been. And you wouldn't even seen that it was him or
medics
anything like
aren't looking
that.
in fairy world where like they're like let's try and revive him. And like this guy's gone. Even if we did get the heart going, the brain's gone. I
Yeah.
think they judge the patient on the brain, and if you hang yourself, the brain's gone.
Yeah. Because it's been without oxygen for too long.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll just defend yourself. You either pull it off or you don't in this circumstance.
I'm telling you, either Mossad and the CIA yanked him out of there and they're either going to have
It
him.
wasn't Clinton, it's too sophisticated.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It definitely wasn't the Clintons. I mean, he's tied to far, like again, the
And
Clintons.
also, it's good if you do touch him, because I just wanted to the second point was that the Clintons don't know if he's dead or alive.
Yeah. Well, see, that was good. The other thing I was going to say is
they're just in the dark as what we are.
That's why I think Trump would have yoinked him out of there too. Either
it
this,
would be a genius move.
yeah, because like you said, it keeps everyone in the dark then about what they're getting from him and things like that and all that stuff, and
And then you have to play devil's advocate on that with Trump, because if Trump fucks this up, which he fucked up Vegas, that's it for him. It's over for him, because people will not trust him ever again. Because most of his fan support are like, he's going to drain the swamp, his, the Q stuff. If this just closes the book, I think Trump's support base will just drop so massively. It won't be so much about Trump, but it'll be like, look, just like in England, there's no such thing as justice anymore. It's the idea of justice, long gone.
yeah.
Long gone before Trump even fucking like. I just think people would just opt out of politics altogether, and it'll be anarchy.
Well, and part of the problem though is like, how much control do you think Trump has over the justice system when the justice system has been trying to indict him for nearly 3 years now?
People won't care. They won't care.
I mean,
They'll be
that's
like, if you can't get Epstien, the world's largest child trafficker,
yeah.
just forget it.
Well, and that's the
And that's just playing devil's advocate on Trump. I can see this being the end. I think it's more likely that they've just closed the book on this, and now it's dead. They're gonna be like, look, all evidence is circumstantial.
See, but here's the thing about
if
it.
you can't testify, you're putting evidence on a guy that can't defend himself.
But
You
here,
don't know what happened.
here's the
Jamie, you've got all these Russians with all these conspiracy theories. You don't know what's a conspiracy and what's not anymore.
but
So we're just going to close the book.
hold on. I just want to make this one point though. To the average American though, Trump supporter or not Trump supporter, Las Vegas and Epstein are irrelevant. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. Irrelevant. That doesn't. It's whatever in the online queue and conspiracy circles and stuff like that.
Trump, but just the whole system. They'd be like, if Trump cannot sort this, just forget about it. Put Bernie in. Who cares?
I don't think it's that. I'm telling you, to the general masses, right or left, I don't think it's that big of a deal to either of them. Like, because it's so systemic. Like, it's a very undercurrent type of.
This is the biggest case ever. If it slips that he could just end this with a happy ending.
Oh no, I'm not denying that. Like, the implications are massive.
The idea of justice is gone.
I mean, it's kind of been gone.
Ever come forward again? Then it'd be like the NYPD are fucking useless. Trump's useless. Just forget it. And then I just think that'll be it. I think it'll be anarchy. I think the idea of justice in America would just be like no one will buy it.
But it's already been like that. I mean, like
not to this degree.
All right. Here's the other problem with Epstein though is again it's not a localized issue. I mean, he's bringing in girls from Sweden and everywhere else, where it's like
it's global elite.
He was a global
infiltration.
And
still, it would just demonstrate there's no control of the justice system.
But
you've got no control of the justice system. Who cares who's in?
But let me try to phrase this like this. Do you think Ben Shapiro's listeners think there's a global elite like cabal or Illuminati?
Well, they do as far as when we look at the Epstein case, I'd say yeah.
Well, yeah, they think there's but they don't
But they're
think,
all
but
like
they think Epstein
royalty
is just a
politics.
millionaire who rubs shoulders with other like they don't see the system
No.
that put Epstein in that place. That's the point I'm making.
No, I think everyone's on the same page. Any political spectrum, pretty much everyone's on the same page on Epstein, which is nice.
I I'm not saying they aren't, but I'm saying they are on that as far as Epstein as an individual. They don't see the superstructure that is behind
I think they
Epstein.
do.
I
They
don't
do, 'cause
know.
they see the names that are coming out, like Prince Andrew, Clinton's, like all the dirt, like just every name that's coming out.
But like, it's
The
weird
Israeli
because
Prime Minister.
things get compartmentalized in people's heads where it's like, for example, like Kevin Spacey could put out a movie tomorrow and it would get Golden Globes and people would see it and they'd think nothing of his connections to Epstein or everything that happened with him being accused and things like that. Like Kevin Spacey's already having a comeback right now. Like he's out at film festivals and doing things like that. I mean, it's like it's weird, and I'm not saying that it's good that it's this way or anything like that. I'm just saying, like in the eyes of the masses, this is all really small and minor, and it's not. It shouldn't be that way. It is very important, and this is one of the biggest issues that I think facing the world is these people and their crimes and everything like that. But I don't think the average person is aware of, like I'm saying, they might be aware of Epstein, they might be aware that he's tied into certain people. They're not aware that it's systemic, that it's a
I
systemic
think they
global
are.
operation on behalf of intelligence agencies and military complex and everything like that. I mean, I think of, for example, did you see the own
Maybe it's different in England because the Maxwell, everyone remembers Maxwell, bro.
well, and you guys also had
And
Jimmy
the yacht he
Savile
died.
and
Didn't he die
stuff.
on a yacht or whatever? No, because it's exactly the same exit as what Maxwell took.
Yeah, I see. The thing is I think part of it is it might permeate more in Britain just out of
Yeah,
sheer.
maybe the English press is different to yours. I don't know,
Well,
but
and also that here's the other thing you have to remember: America's big, like it is big. So I mean, there are situations that happen. Yeah, Big Chris just said you mentioned the 13 families of the Illuminati to a Shapiro listener. They'll laugh at you and say you listen to Alex Jones. Exactly, that's exactly my point. Where it's like they are focused on this issue, on the specifics of Epstein as a person. They don't want to admit, like how, what was it? Eisenhower talked about us being ruled by the military-industrial complex. Kennedy talked
they
about
don't
the
need to
secret
go that deep in it.
societies.
They just need, you don't need to go that deep. You just need to see the names and then go, okay, this is
But
John.
no, that's the point I'm making though. They'll just see the names and think the names are it. That's the problem. They just see the
No, I don't
names.
know. I think you gotta give. I don't know. Yeah,
They're,
I don't know. The answer I don't know. I just give people more credit than
they'll see Epstein and they'll see Clinton. They'll say we knew Clinton was a rapist. They'll see Prince Andrew. They say yeah, we know the British royals are into some crazy shit. That dead bodies pop up on the lawns over there. They won't think anything beyond it. They won't think it's a blackmail operation. They won't think it's a global, sex traffic. They'll think Epstein is bagging these girls up for his pleasure and renting them out to politicians. They won't think that the system, the CIA,
Yeah,
Mossad,
I
and all
think
of them are
yeah,
behind
and if
it.
they're that innocent to the whole thing, that would be enough.
I mean,
Personally, that would be
it
enough.
might be enough that they start questioning things a little
They
more,
need to know
but
everything.
I think they compartmentalize it, unfortunately.
Well,
Like
I'll try and make my point again because maybe I didn't make it too clear, which does happen sometimes. It's not about Trump. I'm just saying that if Trump doesn't get to the bottom of this when it's under his watch, I just think people aren't going to be like that into him anymore. They're just going to lose faith.
see,
Not necessarily Trump, but just the whole system. And be like, look,
but this is the point I'm making is
like,
again
what's the point in even following the media anymore? Because they're just going to tell us he
Well, most
committed
people
suicide.
don't.
The whole thing's going to get brushed under the carpet.
Most people don't
there's
follow
no
the
point
media
anymore.
because, again, now we've had a second time you've had a Hispanic Jewish person in the headlines doing some fucked up shit, and they keep saying white supremacy, white supremacy. Remember, George Zimmerman, who killed Trayvon Martin, was a Hispanic with a Jewish last name. Well, now we have, what is it, Nicholas Cruz or whatever? Another guy with a Jewish father and a Hispanic last name, and they're calling him a white supremacist. The news, people are tuned out to the news in general. I'm saying as far as Trump's base and Trump supporters, Epstein would be good if they can take him down.
Any faith in a justice system.
But people,
and everyone's in on it. Like, everyone.
But here's the problem. Trump supporters don't have faith in the justice system because the justice system has been targeting Trump for 3 years. The justice system is who's been perpetuating the Russia hoax. I'm just saying, like, the justice system is who's been perpetuating Russia for 3 years.
I'm not talking about, Jamie, and my point's very clear. If this gets closed, and it just goes, the case is closed, we're not going to look into his other names because he's dead now, people will not give a fuck about any court case that comes up ever again. Any criminal that the police get, they'll be like, okay, it's just rigged. I don't care about what you think about Trayvon. I don't care about Trayvon. I mean, I'm not talking about this.
Well, no, I was talking about the media.
I'm not going to hold
regard.
on. We're talking about the largest case America's seen in God knows how long. If it doesn't get dealt with, that's it.
The largest cases in America never get dealt with, though. That's what you're missing. We've had presidents get shot.
That's not to this scale.
JFK getting assassinated wasn't to this scale.
So. It's about it's
9/11. I mean, that's the point I'm making. Anything that is of huge.
9/11, I'll give you 9/11, and look what 9/11 did. That would make my point more. People lost a lot of people just like fuck.
Lost faith in the government. Yeah.
Never let the government investigate.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the MO over here.
Yeah, but I'd say this is
that's why to make my point, people aren't engaged in the first place. And I feel like that's the thing with the point you're making. You're presuming they're engaged in general. And they're not. They could, because they have already lost faith. I mean, we can have presidents get their brains blown out with magic bullet theories.
Yeah, but at least, yeah, exactly. You just made your case, because at least with the JFK, you can say, hey, it was just a dude that shot him. But this, you cannot deny that it's an elite ring, or at least some kind of ring with as high as it's got that we've seen that's come out by that's been, because it has to be verified by mainstream. Can't be like Peatsgate. Can't be something that didn't get the badge approval from MSN. Seriously, dude. Like,
but here, I just want to read out this comment from Chris because
because we've had this in England. The biggest thing we probably had politically that I can think of in England, other than World War II or something like that, would be the Jimmy Savile and the Westminster VIP abuse, and how it was covered up and how the media are in on it. So we've had it. Like, you're just going through what we've already had.
Yeah.
And that completely destroyed all the idea that there's justice in England is just a joke. And it comes from that. And if you don't think that's going to happen when this is on a bigger scale to what happened to us, I just think you're wrong. And it's not, you're confusing it with like people being in some Trump base. Fuck Trump or who you support. This is about the justice system. Who cares if the justice is going after Trump? If Trump can't rein it in, no one's going to rein it in. It's it.
I mean, I agree with that point on the justice system.
Because at least when we had the Westminster scandal, we can at least say, guys, we had Tony Blair in Cameron. We didn't have like a Trump figure in.
I mean, here's one of the other things too. You have to realize one of Obama's main, I guess we would say, accomplishments. One of Obama's main accomplishments, I guess we could say, is he completely eroded faith in the justice system and everything. I mean, we're having it now where there are cops being assaulted and having shit thrown at them daily, and they're asking, can we pass new laws to protect the police? Like, people are already fighting with the law enforcement they encounter. I mean, that attitude goes all the way up the chain. So I mean, faith in the justice system, there isn't any in the first place. So to think it could be
Well, there must.
eroded.
No, I know that's wrong. Otherwise, Epstein wouldn't even be in court. People are coming forward, and they're not going to come forward ever again.
Well, no, they didn't come forward. They unsealed the records.
Alive.
That's part of it. Part of the reason why he got taken in was the records from the original case got unsealed. So they found new details that they could bring up different charges with him over. I mean, I think that answers the double jeopardy thing, where it's like, you know, you can go after someone. Again, if there's a conspiracy, there tends to be multiple charges. So if they couldn't get him on sex trafficking, you know, if one of the girls is under 14, well, you can hit him with pedophilia if that wasn't one of the original charges, once you have the proof and the records and all of that. I just want to read out Big Chris's comments.
No, you're not, because you're not getting it. If you've got,
what do you think I'm not getting?
Hang on, I'm going to explain to you what you're not getting. So maybe I'm not explaining it well. Let's say you're a little rape victim, you're a little girl, you're a little rape victim. Because we had this in England. Like
I know the point you're making. People don't think if they turn to the cops, they don't think there'll be any recourse.
Yeah, like they'll be like, they've just seen it being covered up right in front of them. No victim will come forward again.
Yeah.
Who do they come forward to?
But
the guys that let Epstein go. I mean,
the point I'm trying to make is it's already there. You're imagining that there is faith to erode. That's the point I'm trying to make.
There is faith to erode because
there is not.
There is, because we had exactly the same with the Islamic grooming gang.
Because what? Because we threw Epstein in a cell for 2 weeks?
Because once it gets out that there's always Islamic groom gangs, you get victims coming out, and then when they realise nothing's going to be done, no victims come out again.
All right.
Comes out in the media, nothing gets done.
Let me give the timeline here. When was the initial case against Epstein?
What, where it became actually big? I know you're going to say like a decade ago.
Yeah.
But this case just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so you had the women come forward a decade ago, right? They came forward a decade ago and they couldn't pin it on him. Faith was eroded then. So what? We think now because we threw him in a jail cell for 2 weeks that everyone, like, suddenly the justice system's faith was restored?
Yes, you fucking dumb. Yes, because if you just went back last year and you spoke to 100 people about Epstein, I reckon about 80 of them wouldn't know who Epstein is.
Yeah.
That's not the case now.
But I'm telling
everyone knows who Epstein is now.
I think you are.
So the fact he got away with it, it's not comparable to a decade.
But the point I'm trying to make is, like, first off, I think you are overestimating the. All right, let me read Big Chris's comments because they pretty much answer my point. The normies also don't care because it doesn't immediately affect their lives. One of their shows gets canceled, time to write their congressman. Every time I talk about this stuff to my mom, she just pats me on the head. The normies are not engaged because they don't care. They wouldn't care about a zombie invasion until The Walking Dead was at their door. The cops are bought off. There's no faith in the American public. Because it's been like this forever.
Hang on. You're not Big Chris. Big Chris, why don't they care?
Because,
we all know the answer. We all know the answer, but that's Big Chris' answer. We all know it, right? Why don't they care? Big Chris, hit us with it.
I can tell you why. They have no reason to have faith in the system.
No. They don't have faith in it. They don't know anything's going to happen. They knew that then, but now it's completely on a different stratosphere.
I mean, and here's the thing too: is again,
there was faith in Big Chris is wrong when he's saying there is no faith in the American public. There was. I saw all the faith when they first arrested him. Where were you?
But again, all that was an arrest.
Everyone was like, yeah. So
yeah, because they were counting their eggs before they hatched. Because look where we are now.
Jamie, by definition, that is faith.
Yeah.
Counting your eggs before they hatch.
Yeah.
And Chris Harris wrote, "There's no faith in the American public." Well, there was fucking before he was dead.
For a minute.
Before Saturday.
But that's the point I'm making. For a minute. I mean, we've been told there's going to be investigations into 9/11. You get a little bit of faith, and where does it go? Nowhere. That's the problem, and that's why most people aren't engaged, because they've played this game over and over.
Yeah, so what do you think is going to happen when if it did happen again? I'm not saying it like I hope it doesn't, but I think it will. If it happens again, I don't know what you guys are going to do. Because no one's going to be like, next time a big cheese gets arrested, you guys aren't even going to bother following it. Because you're going to be like, we all know.
But I'm telling you, all Americans already assume if you're a big cheese, you're above the law. That's the default position.
Circles. We just agreed that until Epstein was dead, people weren't thinking like that. People were buzzing that it's going to finally get this.
They were hoping.
Get these guys in jail.
They were hoping, but it's one of those things where until you see it...
You were hoping too?
Yeah, I was hoping that something would stick on him, but realistically, I didn't expect it to be able to, because that's how these things work. If you're tied in high enough... I mean, it's basically you have people that are above the system because they are the system. I mean, is George Soros going to get locked up for anything? No. Is a Rockefeller going to get locked up for anything? No. Is a Bush family member? Is a Bush family member? I think there's
People getting excited, going, they're gonna get this guy.
Yeah, they were hoping. They were hoping because.
Is that not faith in a justice system?
But here's the point I tried to make initially. Is you're talking about a very small segment of the population that even cares about this.
No, I don't know about I don't know about that. If I said
because
that.
even as Big Chris said, if it doesn't affect the people personally, they don't give a shit. They care about the wall. They care about the economy. They care about China way more than anything concerning Epstein.
Big Chris didn't talk about China or any of this stuff.
No, he just said if it doesn't affect normies personally. If it doesn't affect them personally.
Stuff Christians say. But anyway.
But I know, but I'm just giving points to the sentiment he was putting forth. If it doesn't affect people personally, they don't care. And I was listing off the things that do affect them personally.
Well, I don't want to do the so you're saying, because that's just ridiculous. But then he's saying that Republicans and Democrats are the same. They're not anymore. That's the whole point of Trump. They're both gone. You could say they're the same in that way, because the Democrat Party have got nothing on Trump. Like, they're not even putting anyone forward. The Republican Party not putting anyone forward. Trump isn't a Republican, so come 2024, you're not going to have a Democratic Party or a Republican Party. That's why Trump was so genius. Because he isn't either.
Yeah. I don't know.
And they're definitely not the same.
Hold on. What does it say? The reason my mom pats me on the head and smiles is because she knows there's a two-tier justice system, and she thinks I'm cute for thinking we can change things. Wow.
Well, yeah, and so yeah, I agree. And then when you realise you can't, when the next one comes along, you're going to be your mum, your kid. You're going to be like, you can't. Yeah, I agree with that.
See, but that was my.
That's why it's so dangerous. If Trump has put him in a. Extracted him.
But you just made my point, and the thing I was trying to say though is we've already been there. Like you said, Las Vegas. We had no answers out of Vegas. We're getting no answers out of Epstein. Where it's like that's how these things happen. They end up in dead ends.
You're not going to get it better than Trump, guys.
Yes, but even at that, he's only one person.
I'm not saying Trump is multiple people in any point.
No, but
he's got clones.
But the thing I'm saying is, okay,
Trump is one person.
But even if
Trump, that's not. You're not going to get it better than Trump. If Trump can't fix your justice system, it ain't getting fixed.
But also part of the problem. Well, part of the problem too, though, is we have.
Don't you see people in England going, "We want Trump"? Why do you think people in England want Trump? Because we want to fix our justice system. If you can't do it with Trump, it's not.
Here's part of the problem, though. Here's part of the problem is there are parts of what people think are the justice system that aren't parts of the government. like the CIA. The CIA
I'm
isn't a.
sure that's the case.
So how can Trump rein in the CIA?
Because here's the best chance you ever had. You're not going to get a better chance.
I understand that. I mean, I'll give you that, but if you were to ask me
So if anything
if
big
you were to
happens
ask me
again,
what I think the chances are, I'd say we probably have 25% chance of success.
what do you mean? That something will happen with the Epstein case?
Or anything concerning Trump draining the swamp or reining things in, or I mean, again, you were talking like intergenerational families, like the Bushes that have just been there forever, and one person can come in and just sort of clean house. I mean, again, he's got to go through this process with all the people he turns to for help of if he can even trust them or not. Like, he's a fish out of water in a toxic swamp. Like, it's I mean, it's a daunting task. I agree. Best chance we've got, but I think his chances of succeeding at some of this are 25 to maybe 30%.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and that's what I'm worried about. That those are the numbers, the justice system's gone. It'll just be like England.
I
Like
mean,
people won't bother reporting shit anymore. Like no point.
well, part of that, I think, again, like I was saying, Obama did a lot to really erode faith in the justice system, whether it's, the angles he portrayed to the black community that, you won't get. I mean, remember, no justice, no peace. That was a chant
We're
as
seeing
cities
it
were getting
with
burnt
Brexit.
down.
Like the people turning up to the polls are just the dregs. Like no one's even
Yeah,
turning up.
even
And the
that.
reason they're turning
Like,
up is because we voted for Brexit, God knows when. It's still not here. So people are like, just forget it.
yeah. Well, and that's how. I mean, to some extent, I think that's even how things were with the midterms. Remember, the Democrats won
I just
that
think we're a
midterm
little bit
election.
further ahead in the mess than you guys. We're
See,
about 3 years ahead.
I see. That's I think where we really differ is because I
Now, we
think.
lost our guns way before, like decades before you did. We lost our free speech. Now you're starting to lose it. We
Well,
started to lose
well,
our
yeah, no,
voice
I
against
agree.
media.
I agree in that. I what
We've
the
already had the paedophile scandals. Now you're getting them.
Yeah, now in all of those I agree, but I think as far as the sort of deeply ingrained, I don't know, would you call it apathy maybe, or the just sort of like you know disconcern for these big issues, because again we never get answers for any of this, whether it's JFK or 9/11 or like uh you know John Lennon getting shot or MLK or
It makes it worse because I think you make a good point there. It makes it worse because of that. Because as soon as Epstein is like everywhere now, and then when people will pick up on people when you hear in the sort of near the water tanker, people talking about Epstein, those people that were considered crazy or conspiracy theorists, people are going to go up to them now and go, "Oh, you're the guy that's talking about Epstein. What do you think about 9/11 now?" They're going to reevaluate based on this. Because the idea of calling someone a
hopefully.
conspiracy theorist now is so dumb that they might reconsider stuff like JFK, and this can be the turning point for a lot of people.
I mean, I hope, but I don't know. I think it's one of those things where with the 24-hour news cycle and at the rate that they swapped. I mean, let's remember this thing happened today. Now, it'll be interesting a week from now if Epstein is even mentioned in the news, because I guarantee you the media might just say case closed, he's dead. That's it. Like, and we'll be back to talking about gun control or whatever else
Yeah,
happened. Like, it's that's
and
the
the ring will continue.
like one of the people
Because
even
that's what
remembered.
worries me. That's
We
what I
still don't
heard you
even know
say.
about the Notre Dame fire, how that started. They told us it wasn't arson
Well,
on
we
day
did.
one, but you know, shit happens all the
Yeah.
time, and we don't get sufficient answers for
Yeah, exactly.
anything.
That's another example of Europe. Like a truck will hit like 80 people, and I go, "Oh, probably an accident." And people are like, just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of wish I saw it the way you do, because I feel like you're more optimistic towards all of this than I am. I think it's
Yeah,
very
because if
just,
Trump, I think Trump is a lot smarter than what I am, and I think he knows how much trouble is in now. And yes, he did extradite him. Because you could argue that they don't need Epstein anymore because he isn't talking. They've got a million, they've got a million documents apparently. Do you really need more than that? Like, is it just going to get ridiculous if you get more than that? Because you're not going to get through the documents you got.
yeah.
There's got to be a point where you've got to say we've got enough. And then it might be, I don't understand why no one's raided this island. I don't understand why no one can explain that to me. I don't get this jurisdiction. Like, no one cares. Just send the Navy down there. No
Yeah.
one's gonna. Who's gonna object if a Navy boat turns up on St. James's?
I wonder I wonder if they can
Ridiculous,
even
right?
I
They haven't
wonder
even raided it.
well, I was going to say I wonder if RICO statutes apply. You know what those are, right? The RICO laws where it's like if you can charge one person with a conspiracy, you can charge all of the other co-conspirators. Because I mean that would be the easiest way with legal precedents to just anyone who's been on a flight there, you can just sort of bring them in and start questioning
Can a
them
dead
or
person be a conspirator? I don't know.
uh I don't know if you have proof of the crime, I don't think it matters as long as you have good enough evidence and a paper trail.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's gonna be so easy to call that circumstantial.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'd assume that island would have plenty of surveillance. I mean, I know we have testimony from like the butlers and stuff there too. I mean, there were people working on the island. Like Cernovich did a stream where he was reading some of the documents and stuff.
It seems very weird to me that they haven't raided it. If you want to follow the story, the way to follow the story to ignore everything and you have to pay attention to who does the cleanup because this estate's going to what's going to happen to Epstein's estate, who's going to be getting access to that property now it's dead? Is it going to be his brother?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Whoever cleans, because it's normal for a place to get cleaned up, whoever does that cleanup,
Well, and here's the other
you need to be
thing.
keeping an eye on.
And
Whoever the estate goes to, you need to be keeping an eye on. Whoever makes claim to the estate. The other thing is, where the fuck is Maxwell?
well,
Who gives a fuck about Epstein, really?
here's the thing I was gonna say is Anomaly did a
Where's
video.
Maxwell?
Anomaly did a video on one of the shooters and of these recent shootings and bringing up interesting details about the guy's father and him having this link to this guy John of God who like
Oh, right, yeah.
had some crazy plan to inseminate the world with all of his babies and stuff. I wonder because Epstein was kind of on that tip too. How many kids does he have and where are they?
Yeah, and Israel did it on the day.
Huh?
Don't know if you saw that. That was a weird article. Israel sent something to the moon to start breeding.
Yeah, that I haven't
Well, that
seen.
sounds a lot like Epstein. What the fuck
But
is this
yeah,
guy?
I do wonder who's ending up in charge of the estate and all of that, and if he does have like secret
The other thing is
children
this,
everywhere.
being a Jew, I imagine they're going to want that body buried by tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Don't you have to bury it in like 3 days?
yeah,
Right. So,
it's
yeah.
quick. It's something like that.
So that body's going to be getting rid of very quickly. It's not then when they go, you got rid of that body quick. Then she's like, really is a
Well,
joke.
that's when we first started. I was gonna say they basically are Bin Ladening him, and that was the thing they did with Bin Laden. They were like, "Oh, we caught him. He's dead. Nothing to see here. Threw him in the ocean. Yeah, can't see the body. He's gone." Islamic burial
Yeah, we always go
tradition.
about Prince Andrew anyway.
Like they're gonna do the same thing with Epstein. Oh yeah, nope, can't see the body. Jewish tradition, whatever. It's already in
I
the
do
ground.
hope Trump's mate's right, where he said this is going to make it easier to get warrants now because there's going to be no one to put up a fight against it because the properties are in Epstein's name. So if Epstein's dead, we're just going to get in there.
Hopefully. Hopefully the government can then just basically seize it all.
Because I know that they didn't murder him, because they wouldn't have arrested him.
Yeah.
They would have done it beforehand. They would have done it ages ago. Clinton didn't do it because it's too sophisticated. There's no way Clinton's so sophisticated. She would have done it, and she could have done it ages ago.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is it's like you have to be aware of where
There's a
these.
75% chance it's been extracted Gitmo or it's gone to Tel Aviv and the whole operation started again.
Yeah. I mean, it's as far as like the Clintons and stuff like that, people don't realize the Clintons are. Let me put it like this: if we were to say that this sort of super evil cabal Illuminati system is a
Yeah, they're like
person,
level 2, level 3.
well, the Clintons are basically like the gloves for the hands of the beast. Where it's like, I mean, they're in, it's like the glove goes on, the glove comes off. Hillary Clinton has no power right now, so who is
Yeah,
she?
right. She ain't got any money probably.
Yeah, the money is dried up. They're not in a position of authority. She is just Hillary Clinton now. She's not Secretary of State. They're not a governor. They're not anything. Like, so I don't. I mean, I don't doubt that they have hitmen that probably owe them some favors and stuff. Still, there's obviously connections tie deep, and people have blackmail on each other and all of that. But I don't think they pulled this one off. I think they honestly would have been like, I think Bill is close enough to being in the ground that he just doesn't care.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen then? Do you think Trump like got him, or do you think they closed the book?
I think as far as the media is concerned, the book is going to be closed. I mean, here's the thing too is remember there were thousands of these busts leading up to Epstein. Epstein's just the only one that sort of broke through the mainstream media because of the prior case and him who he's tied to. Trump has been on this, sex trafficking pedophile fight since day one, where we would see, 1,000 people arrested in this connection, a couple hundred
Because
over
under
here.
that executive order, can't he do what we're accusing him of doing? I mean, people go, well, you can't just disappear someone. It's like,
Oh,
didn't he sign an executive order saying he was going to do like exactly that?
I mean, between
Like,
the
just changed Maguire in, who's more military, and his spy chief kind of thing. We're
but
talking spies.
yeah, between the Patriot Act and Obama's NDAA, they could have done it. Trump wouldn't have even needed to put anything new in place. They would have just had to say, we think he's a foreign asset terrorizing, and it's with the legal language they could have got away with black bagging
No,
him
I
and
think they could do. I think they'd have to do what you said and pretend he's dead and get him out.
yeah. Well,
I don't think
I
they'd
think
tell
they're
people.
I
I don't think
think
they want people. Like if they wanted you, I don't think they're going to tell people, "Oh, hey, we're just going to grab Jamie." I think they're going to grab you and try and keep it as quiet as possible.
yeah,
So it's like earned benefits, such as liability, asset, liability, asset.
yeah,
That's how they see things.
yeah. That's true.
Is he an asset or is he a liability? If it's an asset, Trump's got him. If it's a liability, he's dead.
Well, and that's the thing. It's all a matter of who he's what to. Where it's
And
like
why are the newspapers saying he had a heart attack and then he hung himself? Heart attack, hung himself.
that I
How
didn't
can you get
see.
those two?
I didn't
Yeah,
see the heart attack
yeah,
thing,
'cause I'm in
but
British time, so when it happened, like it was like Saturday morning, it was like first in the morning.
yeah,
So I remember everyone. My first impression was, oh, they must have poisoned. That'd be really easy. I was thinking about them poison guns too, that heart stopper
yeah,
guns. They were
yeah,
saying he had a heart attack. They still are saying that in some places. They don't know. They can't really explain if it's a heart attack or he hung himself. I just don't get where the official story came that he hung himself because I
yeah.
was being told he had a heart attack.
Well, I mean, a heart attack you can induce with sound weapons and stuff. You could have had someone outside the facility target him with
Yeah,
one
and
of
also
those.
you gotta be fair. Epstein could have had a heart attack. No, he is at that age.
Yeah, I don't. Suicide isn't. That's no. That's all there is to say about that. I don't. Someone
5% chance.
monsters like that
There is
don't
a
just kill
chance.
themselves.
He could have done. It's
Well,
not
see,
like
here's the thing: is the only circumstance I could see as him killing himself would be if someone he worked under approached him and had leverage on him, where they said, "Listen, you better make sure they can't, figure anything out from you, or we're going after everyone you love and care about, and this, and that, and then you have to off yourself in order to save them." Like, but again, he's a sociopath, so it's like I don't think there's
yeah,
anyone he
no,
even
yeah,
cares about
yeah.
enough to.
No, I don't think you get into Mossad if you do have people you care about.
Yeah,
It doesn't work anymore.
yeah, that's true.
Because Epstein's gonna, if he is Mossad, he's not gonna be easy to crack, guys. Like he does look like a tough guy.
Yeah,
No one just say that. Like I reckon he could take quite a bit of torture, especially if he is what we say is Mossad. He probably can like just not give a fuck over torture and just not. He could be like hardcore. And, like you got him on a go and he's torturing. It's just like I don't care, guys. You can rip my fingers off. Like because pain is something you can switch off,
yeah.
especially in his field.
Well, I'm still honestly curious about like who was propping him up. Like, because everyone's been sort of raising questions of where's his money come from, and everything like that. And it's like you look at the things he was involved in, like real estate and all of that, and that sort of just seems like it was there to launder the money.
That's why you got to watch about where his assets go.
Yeah. Although I'd assume the government has frozen all of them, and then they're probably just seeing who's going to try to claim them and get them. But anyway, let me get going. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, man.
But all right.
This is a mess.
Yeah.
Today.
But we can catch up later on in the week. Weekdays now I don't have work, so maybe one of these days after work.
Yeah, man.
Do I watch Edge of Wonder? No, but maybe I'll check it out.
I watch it. It's actually pretty good.
We can get into that next time. Yeah, alright, guys.
Good show.
Alright. Take it easy.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.